Welcome everybody to iSV's Season 9 Town Hall / panel, where we are going to talk about what Season 9 is going to look like, what we have in store for you, and also to make some requests, put up some polls, requests for feedback, things like that. So let's get started. For those of you who may not recognize voices, I am Rill. I am the community manager, and I will be today's panel moderator. And we are going to start off with a couple of things, but we will do introductions. So, Ashley, say hello.
Hello, if you don't know me, which most of you should, I am Ashley. I sort of just hang around here once in a while. Um, that's about all there is. Megs, go ahead.
Hello, hello. I'm sure most of the East Coast people know my face and my voice, but for the rest of you, this is me, Glaive.
Hi, I'm Glaive. I like diamonds. Yeah, there we go. Go ahead, Oz.
Hello, I am Oz. I like redstone. Yeah, we'll keep it short and sweet today. Lulu next on the list, I suppose.
Yes, my name's Lulu. I am the honorary guide here today. And I am very sweet and innocent. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. And the next sweet and innocent person, Feather.
Hi, I'm Feather, the local kitty cat, and I am also sweet and innocent, and also potentially looking for my new kitty toy.
You're always looking for a new kitty toy.
Manatee.
I am O the Humanity. You can just call me Hugh or Hey You or Manatee or O. I answer to pretty much all of it. I mean, yeah, I like blocks that are underwater. I like coral and I like coral fans. Anyway, oh yes, and I am the spreadsheet queen apparently. I like to do more of the administrative side of stuff. So if I
Keeps us
can put it
organized.
into a spreadsheet, I probably already have. That would be up next. Wandering. Speaking of what,
Wandering's going to type instead of say stuff because it's 4 a.m.
he might have fallen asleep. Oh, yes, that's true. Wandering says hi.
Hello, it's way too early.
There we go.
He lives.
Good enough. Legion, why don't you go next?
Hello, I'm Legion or Lego. I'm definitely not sus, and I'm currently regretting my decision not to go for a pee before the panel. Over to you, Twin or Mac.
Hi, I'm Mac, macaroni cheese. If you call me macaroni, I feel like I'm in trouble. I'm an Aussie admin, and back to Rill.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, so we're just going to do a quick review of the timeline that we're looking at here for all of the things happening within the community over the next couple of months. So first off, the first thing we have coming up is our last kind of spillover tour that we're going to have with Impulse. We had only planned on doing 2 base tours, but there were so many signups, and Impulse really wanted to make sure that everybody got their bases seen. So we are going to be having another tour next Friday for a few hours to get all of the people who we couldn't get to before. So it was really awesome of Impulse to squeeze it in right before he's going on vacation and everything. So it's going to be really cool. The next thing after that that's coming up is going to be on Friday, July 11th, or Saturday, July 12th for the other side of the world. We have an intercommunity skyblock that is going to be launching that day. This is a 30-ish day event. We will leave the server up for longer if you guys are having fun, but otherwise you can expect it will be at least 30 days. We are going to be using Iridium Skyblock, which is what we used the last time we did Skyblock, where you can have different types of islands. You can group up and team up with people to have the same island and share an island together. There's an economy. We've got player particle effects again this time around that you can activate and be all super shiny and stuff. Feather's been having a lot of fun playing around with those. But we're really excited. So this is an inter-community event, so it's not just iSV, but Skizzlecraft will be joining us. So anyone who is currently a supporter and is playing over on Skizzlecraft will be able to join. And we just announced that the Imp and Skiz podcast community will be joining us as well. So anyone who is supporting the Imp and Skiz podcast will be allowed access to the server. So this is going to be a huge deal. We're very excited. Okay, so after our Skyblock launch on July 11th, the next thing that happens is Season 8 is going to close. So on July 16th, which is a Wednesday, that will be the last day that the server is online in its current form. So make sure that you've done everything you want to do by that point. It's going to be so sad. I recommend, from an admin perspective, we will make the world download available as soon as we can. Make sure that your borders are visible. So they have to be visible from like a bird's eye view perspective. Top looking down, we need to be able to see your borders, otherwise you risk getting parts of your base chunk pruned. So, and if you've built paths between bases, make sure those are clearly visible as well. So if it's below ground, you need to put something above ground to let us know that it's there, because otherwise we won't see it, because we can't see into caves when we're using our chunk pruning software. So make sure that you've got everything either within your borders, or if it's outside your borders, like paths between bases, make sure it's clearly marked. We also recommend that when you log out for the last time that you remove all of your items from your character and put them in a chest. Remove all the items from your ender chest as well and set them out or put them in a chest. This is because these are the things that are held by player data, and Mojang has done a lot of changes to player data over the last few months. And so I can't guarantee I'll be able to get you your player data in the world download, but I will try. But just in case, you'll want to make sure that you've removed everything from your ender chest and off your person. So those are the two major things to keep in mind as we're coming to season close. After the 16th, the server is going to be down for 30 days. That is the reason why we have a Skyblock event going on, so that you guys can still play and have fun and take a break from regular SMP stuff as you wait for the new season to be ready. So at the same time that the SMP server is closing, the creative server is also going to close. So you'll want to grab any schematics or anything like that that you want before we take it offline. If you need a schematic that is not like a Lightmatics schematic, you can talk to a mod and we can pull the files for you and send them over to you as well. The creative server will be in the world download. I just can't guarantee that the world download will be available before the new season starts. So your builds will not be going away. They'll be included in the world download. It's just, it might be a hot minute before you get access to it again. What's a break? Indeed. Okay, and then lastly on the calendar, Season 9 launches on Saturday, August 16th. So, hold on. I don't know if that's right. I thought it was Friday, August 15th this time around. Maybe it was the 16th. Hold on, somebody correct me.
I thought it was Friday as well.
Yeah, it was Friday. We were doing it Friday this time in case Impulse wanted to stream the launch. Yes, okay. Sorry about that. I was just reading instead of thinking. Okay, yes, it is Friday, August 15th, and it's Saturday, August 16th for the other side of the world. I'm not an Aussie yet. Yeah, that's true. Yet being the key phrase. Okay, and that's it for our timeline. Now just a couple of things about, well, we're just calling it Impulse News. Impulse would like to stream more regularly from the server. And for those of you who may have been here from Set the Wayback Machine to Season 6, he used to stream every Friday for about an hour from the server, and he wants to return to that schedule. So I don't know when he's going to start it. It might not be right at the start of season, but he is going to do that. And we're just waiting on confirmation and a time frame, which he'll be able to get to us before season launch. But probably towards the end of July, you can expect some more information about that. Looking into the new season, can you prank him? It depends on the prank. So talk to the mods before you build a prank for him, and we'll let you know whether or not it's something he's okay with. So thinking ahead into the new season, some people have asked when the next Olympsits is going to be. And since it'll be a new season for us, we want to give you guys plenty of time to work on your mini games and things like that for the Zits to play. We're going to look at a February to March timeline. So plenty of time, be sometime early next year to work on your mini games and get ready for Olympsits. And then, of course, because Impulse is trying to find more ways to interact with the community, we are starting to look for people who can do some videos for us. Ashley has been asking around a little bit for people who are willing to do like YouTube shorts and things like that about the rules for the server and about features of the server and things like that. And then if we're seeing some good quality videos coming through, we're going to kick them up to Impulse as recommendations for working on some YouTube videos that would show off the community, show off stuff people are building, doing some more regular short form content, and helping him with creating those and editing those and getting them out. So that is also something we are looking forward to. So if you're interested in that, please let a moderator know and keep an eye out on the content creation area of the Discord for more information, stuff like that coming soon. And with that, that is all for like the timeline and announcements and things like that. I am going to hand it over to Magpie, who is going to talk about updates for our season rules.
Okay. For those of you that have been here prior seasons, you guys know that over the years the rules have gotten a little more complicated and a little more lengthy. Well, our favorite Canadian mod is spearheading a move to streamline and trim down the rules, get rid of a lot of the duplications. The whole idea is we want everyone to have more time to play, less time looking up saying, hey, how many allays am I allowed to have? Or um, just eliminating a lot of the frustration. So we're going to streamline the rules tremendously. On the Gitbook, we're going to be adding FAQs to the Discord so that you guys can find things easier and faster. Basically, get rid of the Department of Redundancy department, which you'll notice that's Ashley doing that, not me. Getting rid of a lot of the out-of-date information and all sorts of other goodness. Because unless you're a wizard named Oz, who has time to hide in a corner and read through all of these rules? But, examples are, like in the past we've had rules against auto clickers on farms. Those rules are being rolled back. making it easier to find, what is the streamers etiquette for both Impulse and guest tours and for people streaming from iSV. Very nice, Opal. Very nice. But also, one of the key points that we wanted to talk about is there's been frequent change requests over the past couple of seasons for a smaller base. So, in addition to the 17 by 17 for single and the 23 for group bases, we are adding an 11 by 11 base. That way, if you're one of those completionists that must fill every block of your base and you think the 17's too much, you now have one less thing to stress over. We'll be adding better documentation on that with the updated Git book and in the Discord. But the one thing that we do want to ask is that the 11 by 11's buffer is still going to be at 17 by 17 for the purpose of base lighting and whatnot to keep the entities under control. Again, I know there's not a whole lot of specifics right now, but we're still in the process of, cleaning this all up. So keep an eye for announcements in the Discord when the new and improved Git book is out. Or UPSI. All right, that works. All right, and unless there's any questions, I'm going to hand it over to Oz for the server structure.
Hello, Oz again. All right. So a lot of this that I'm going to go over here is strongly influenced by a lot of the feedback that we've gotten. A lot of people wanted more interaction on the server, more less spread out, I guess would be a better word as well. So we are condensing things down as much as we can without jeopardizing the stability that ISV has always been known for, and the good TPS, the lack of lag, things like that. Of course, at the beginning of a season, it usually always happens that it's a little laggy, but that's pretty normal for any season start for any server that I've been on as far as multi-server stuff or multi-community stuff. Sorry, lack of words. Anyway, so we're going to be funneling everything through a spawn hub. It's going to be the initial spawn endpoint. It's going to contain the post office, the villager trading hall, spawn town, and all the main portals to the worlds as well as the mining worlds. If we end up doing district portals, they'll be there. It'll go to the SMP servers as well. Everything will basically flow through this spawn hub. So to go from one place to the other, you go to the spawn hub and then you go to your next place. It's going to be our central meeting point, if you will. There's a lot of good plans there. It's got a good layout. My favorite part is probably going to be the post office. Not going to lie. I think Q outdone herself there. The second point is going to be the 2 SMPs. That's right, there will be 2 SMPs instead of 3 now. So that will help everybody stay a little bit closer together. Unfortunately, I don't think it's possible for a community this large to go down to 1, but I think we can do 2. And those SMPs each will have an overworld for your bases, each will have a nether for the hubs and tunnels, and only one of them will have an end. So it may sound scary, but I'll explain something a little exciting in a little bit as well on that. The main end will be like the decorated, the fancy end. And the end on the SMP, the second SMP, will just take you to the first SMP's end. So either way, we'll end up at the single end. That goes over that. The third thing is industrial. We are changing things up a lot with the ID. We are going to be doing an overworld, a nether, as well as an end for the ID. So the primary end won't be used for things like head farming and Enderman farms and shulker farms anymore. We're going to use the industrial end for that. We have a whole team in place for the industrial district, and they're making sure everything's organized, nicely laid out, and they're going to make it a lot easier for us to document as well. So on the industrial district server, we will have our gold farms, our wither skelly farms, our dragon farming, our shulker farms, our bee farms, our tree farms. Just everything we need will be on that server. So we won't have to worry about flying through or having another tunnel going through a wither skeleton farm again or something like that. We're going to mitigate all of those concerns that we ran into the last go. I'm just going to catch on my chat, make sure if I'm missing something in chat, let me know, somebody. Let's see. We're going to have a server just for districts. It's going to include a couple of different things, but the main purpose of this server is for the districts. It'll have the nether bases, the inn bases, the shopping district, and then all the seasonal districts, miscellaneous districts, map world, and the gaming district. Little expansion on the gaming district, just to go over that. It's going to be for all the games. If somebody wants to build Decked Out 3.0 or whatever Tango has inspired us to do, things like that will go there. Or if they just want to build a really small 1-block parkour challenge or whatever, it'll go there. Anything that's in the community together. I believe we'll still be doing our head farming there. We'll turn off death messages so that way it's not spammed across everybody on all the servers. The other thing with the district server is going to be something brand new to the community. It was inspired by some feedback that we got, and it's got one of our moderators very excited, to say the least. And honestly, it sounds really cool. I think it's going to help the community come together again, per your guys' feedback. And that's going to be what we're going to call the ball pit. Ash will be explaining that and expanding on it in a little bit as well. The industrial district is not the same. We're going to do the nether and the end bases, or the end farms, nether and end farms on that server as well. So it's being expanded, and it's going to be good. We are still doing the mining servers. We're going to have the mining overworld, the mining nether, the water world, and the end mining. And for anybody that does not know, the mining worlds are basically just a place you can go 100 blocks out from spawn and just tear it up, get whatever materials you need to, go explore, go raid, go do whatever you need to do. Just don't destroy the part initially around the hub so people are safely able to get out to the other areas. The water mining world is basically just a mob-free area for the most part. It may still have like guardians from a guardian temple or something like that in there, or drowns from a drown temple. Just naturally generated stuff, but it won't have mob spawning. That leads us up to creative. So we will still have a creative server and a place to do events. We are still looking at doing the 15+ area for the higher tiered supporters. So if you're interested in a couple extra plots or something like that, make sure to get your tier up a little bit past the 10 that would normally be needed to join the server. We'll still do a redstone area, a community area, and then we're going to do miscellaneous sections as needed. As always, if we run a competition for a build or something like that that we need, say we want the community involved in a portal or something of that form that we've done in the past, we will just add a little spot onto the creative server for that. And we have something that was also based on feedback. And I think the community is going to be really excited for this, but we're going to do a creative gaming district. And that's where you can design and play games in creative. We can ban IX for that. Yes, after the ban is completed. Anyway, we do have various events and stuff that we will be planning in the future as well. More details, of course, as the season progresses. It's okay, IX. Don't be sad. 93 can't stay sad for long. It's fine. Let's see here. Okay, so going back to SMP 1 and 2, I kind of bunched this up. I was going to do it later on and decided to kind of go ahead and just take the stage a little bit longer than normal. So there's going to be 2 SMPs for people to claim bases on, and we'll have 2 nethers and for the hubs and stuff like that. One of them is going to be a city build. That one's being led by Sturm. He is asking for help. As far as the help goes, I'm going to drop a picture, and maybe I'll drop a picture. For some reason, it's not wanting to drop. I had it saved. Let's see here. Cue elevator music, please. This is in the announcements on June 11th. There's the picture, and then I'll go ahead and drop the link. Unfortunately, Sturm is not here today, so this is the best that I can do, is direct you guys there. He is needing help. He would like to have your input and your builds in his city. This is a very large project. He's got it well laid out. And I honestly think this is going to be a very, very fun season-long project for everybody. The second, oh, sorry, Hugh, I butchered your form there. Okay. The second SMP is the one that I'm going to be leading. And that one is more laid out and structured and will be kind of just for those players that are maybe less creative like myself, that maybe can't build on the fly as well and just kind of want instructions. It's going to be like an Aztec temple kind of thing going on. And let me grab a picture for that real quick. And that's not going to spoil the whole thing. It's a little bit more grand than that, but we're going to call that the interior of the build. So it is going to be pale oak based, yes. Oz a builder, I know. What a surprise. This is going to be more of a lay the schematic down and build it up kind of thing, where Sturms will be more your design, your creativity that he's needing there. I do still have a little bit of work I need to do on this, but for the most part, the project is pretty much done. I wanted to get it done before I went into my season 9 admin side of stuff. So Did I miss anything there, Real?
I don't know. Weren't you paying attention either?
No, I was just talking, jibber jabbering, chitter chatting.
I think you got everything.
Okay, yay. Next up is going to be Ashley with the highways.
Hello, friends. Okay, so I'm excited. The highways are coming back. I know I've taken all of your feedback and everything into consideration. I know that we first did the highways this season and it was very much a learning experience. It was something new. So we've taken all of that and I've put something together that I think will be much better. It should be easier for anybody to jump into. There will be schematics available for everybody. There's not going to be different designs for each biome anymore. We're going away with that, so it's less confusion. It's just going to be much clearer, much easier for anybody to jump into to build. We're going to make sure that the basic infrastructure is an early season priority. So that means that before everybody has wings and before everybody has nether tunnels and everything like that, they should be able to use the highways to access bases. And that's going to be my early season goal right off the bat. My cat is joining, sorry. And so we are going to have less block palettes for easier resource gathering and more efficient building. And I think with these changes, along with only having 2 world servers with slightly smaller world borders, this should make it so it's a much more sensible goal that everybody can work on if they want, of course. And I'm really excited to see it come to life. So yeah, if you guys have any feedback or want to contribute to the highway, or you say, hey, I was thinking this all this season, but now I want to bring it to the next season, but you never did, now's the time. You can send a message to me, put it in the chat, throw your ideas wherever you'd like, and now's the time to plan. So if you have highway ideas, by all means, throw them at me. We have plans to have nether portals along the highway so you can access the roads a lot more easy from anywhere on the server too. So it should be really good, and that's what I'm aiming for. So yeah, that's all I have about the highways. I'm excited to bring them back, fix them, and clean up all of the errors that we had this time. But it was a learning project, and lessons are taken into consideration. So I'm going to hand it over to Lulu now, and she's going to talk about server names. So go ahead, Lulu.
Yes, it has been mentioned all the different servers that are going to be coming up in the new season. But just like this season, we want to name these servers and we want to bring the community into that. So we're going to drop a poll into the chat so you guys can help us decide what we want to name these servers. And yeah, for now, I think I will pass it back to Hugh, and then she has some more information about the spawn hub specifically.
Oh, that's me. Okay. I was paying attention. I was looking elsewhere. Okay, so for the main hub that we log into at the very first time that we log in season 9, we're going to be welcomed by a beautiful lake. I'm very excited about this. The lake has it goes down to bedrock, and I'm very excited about that. And it's got beautiful landscapes as far as the chunks can render, and I'm very excited about this seed. We are all very excited about this seed. The main hub will be where you can find all of the major portals to areas across the iSV server network. We'll have portals to each residential spawn project, the shopping, industrial, village, or trading area, as well as pretty much every other area that'll require travel by portal. We will also be housing the post office, the trading hall, and the spawn town on this world. As Oz mentioned earlier, we're very excited about all of these projects. So I'll go ahead and touch on the post office next. So we'll be doing our post office a little bit differently this season. Instead of an alphabetic system like we're used to, we're going to be trying out a numerical system instead. This will help us cut down on all of the excessive unused mailboxes that we've had in the past, while giving the added benefit of allowing players to have mailboxes next to their friends. Or, on completely opposite floors of your friends. You do you. So with the layout that we currently have planned, we'll have 5 floors to this post office, with each floor housing approximately 96 mailboxes. So we'll have roughly 480 something, almost 500 mailboxes. We're also going to keep the light indicator system that we've had in the past, so that you can just kind of pop down to your floor and see if your light's on or not. So that will be nice. Speaking of the design, we will be looking for you guys to actually help design the post office itself. We have 5 floors, and I've had the thought to design each floor based on a structure within Minecraft. So we're looking at designing an end city floor, a woodland mansion floor, an ocean monument floor, a bastion floor, and an ancient city floor. We are not going to hold a build competition for this. Instead, we're going to try to organize 5 build teams, one for each of the floors. And I will be asking people to sign up. I don't actually have a sign up form put together, so the sign up form is my DMs. And if you want to sign up for a specific floor, you can, or if you just want to say, put me in, coach, I can do that as well. And once I have an idea of how many people want to help design things, we can get that organized. You want 93 mailboxes, Zyx? Okay. Yes. And Ashley has dropped. So that is where we'll be spawning into. That big old lake. Dead center. This will be fun. I promise that you won't drown. Well, I can't promise that. But I promise to prevent as many drownings as possible. Let's see here. And I think that's it for me. Lulu, I'll kick it back over to you.
Yeah, so next we'll be talking about the Spawn Town in the neighborhoods. Spawn Town will be on its own server this season, and it'll be surrounding the lake at the world spawn. The plan is to add pathing around or throughout Spawn Town to make it easier to navigate and explore. I also want to note that there will be B&Bs on the 2 SMP servers that is separate from Spawn Town itself. They will be the builds will be closer to their themes on there, so is that and we've heard your feedback on the neighborhoods, and we'll go from having 8 this season down to 3 in the next season. Each neighborhood will feature a structure of some sort. The first neighborhood will be situated just outside the large pale oak biome, and we'll be converting a woodland mansion into player apartments. The second neighborhood will feature a village that will be reconstructed into a tiny home community. The third neighborhood will also feature a woodland mansion, but we're asking you guys for your input on what we should do with it. We'll also be dropping into the chat the Spawn Town suggestion form, so please look at that form and post and give us your feedback on what you guys think. I believe that's all I have for the Spawn Town, so next I'll pass it over to Legion to talk about the end.
Hello. So as the end of the season is near, I felt it would be fitting to showcase my plans a little bit for next season's end project. I had a few players approach me about ideas that they had for the areas of the stronghold and then the main island. And they absolutely blew me away with the designs that they came up with. Specifically for the stronghold was Cybalex, and for the main end island was Upside or Upsea. I just wanted to show a couple of teasers of what they came up with. So if you bear with me. Here is a little teaser for what's coming for the Stronghold. And here is just a little teaser. If I can get my computer to work. There we go. Of what is to come for the End Island itself. Anyway, of course, with looking after the end, one thing that did come to my mind was what to do for the end opening event and dragon fight that we like to run each season. And for this part, I felt it would be a little bit fitting if I let one of my alter Legos take the reins of this teaser. So over to you, Captain Stashbeard. Ahoy, iSV landlubbers. So ye wished to defeat the dragon and claim its mighty treasure it guards. Well, first ye must open the portal. To do so will require skills to get through the perilous challenges laid down by my devious crew's minds. And if ye manage to get through the portal, my crew will be waiting to protect our treasure at all cost. Dare ye take on the challenge, we shall be waiting. Anyway, okay, Stashbeard, calm down now. That's enough of that. Anyway, I will be planning to put a thread up soon in the main server for people to see what's planned, to join in on getting things set up and stuff. But anyway, that's enough for the end little bit. Over to Glaive for the industrial district.
Thank you, Legion. So, like last season, I will be in charge of the ID for Season 9. I have a team made up of Maleficat, 4G, Zen, Min, Riv, Luna, and Yamorte, who are all helping plan and who will also help manage it into the season. For a lot of things, it will feel very similar to Season 8 with how the approval process went, how farms were laid out in, let's see, there were instructions at farms and how we decorated farms. We will have a sign-up sheet again to claim farms. If you'd like to build them, you can sign up for 2 at a time max, and you can't sign up for any more until you finish 1. We will have a few new things coming in, including a Google form to submit farm requests. So just because you submit a request does not mean that you have to build it, but it's more of a tool to give us as the ID team an idea of what we need to put out there for our redstoners to build. So if you're missing a farm, you put it in this form. Community storage will also be in the ID next season, and our goal is to get it up and running quickly instead of 6 months into the season, so we can actually use it for all of our big projects that we have going early season. The ID will have a loose build theme of, you guessed it, industrial, that the ID build team will be following. It can range from steampunk all the way to futuristic, but you can also just ignore the theme if you already have a farm that you designed and prettified in your own way. We are not enforcing a theme across the whole board. This is just what the ID team will be following. We are working at ways to make the ID more navigable, so all farms will be easier to find. One thing that will help is all public farms will now be on the ID. There will be no farms on any other server, or public farms on any other server. And then lastly, I have 2 things that I'm sure most of the redstoners especially will be excited for. The seed that we found for the ID this season includes a quad witch hut and a quad Crossroad Fortress. 2 very exciting farms. I also have a link for us, or that my team and I wanted to drop into the chat here. Oh, maybe I can correct it. There we go. And that's just for feedback form for this season, so we know what to go into and include for next season. There'll be plenty of farms to build. Anyone can sign up to do them. Just get approval by me, and basically we're set to go. Exactly, Toa. Super Witch Hut farm. And that's probably the candidate for the next big dig next season. Oh, Hugh posted the feedback form. Nice. I just announced all that. Okay. I think that's it. I don't see any questions from me, and I'll pass it on to the district server for Mac.
Hello. So, with some of the learnings of this last season, seeing what we could change to make things seem a little more fluid and integrated, and leaning heavily on the amazing Spawn Hub, the team decided that to create a district server that is dedicated to all the fun and wacky hijinks that you all get up to. This server will host all of the districts except 2. The gaming and the shopping district need their own. And that covers a wide range the team will cover shortly. We've also decided that the nether bases will be housed on this server. So to make sure that the bases are as interrupted as possible, rather than digging tunnels into the netherrack, we're going into the skies. No spoilers for now, because I can wait to show you all, and yes, I am a bit of a tease. But I can promise you that you'll not only be able to get under the bedrock, but also that you'll be able to soar, boat, or run well above any dangerous mobs or lava. So we'll be up in the skies, peeps. To get kicking off on this, we'll pass this on to Feather.
So again, this season I'm in charge of the shopping district. Whispers speak of a hidden district on a server all its own. At its heart stands a tree, ancient, magical, alive. Some say it breathes life into the land. Others say it holds secrets. Surrounding it, a curious structure. Not quite a castle. Something more mysterious, more meowgical. A castle. Yes, I said that correctly, a castle. Colorful roads stretch out, waiting for merchants, builders, and diamond seekers to leave their mark. The new season is coming, and with it, the shopping district awakens. But this is just the beginning. More exciting announcements will be revealed as the season unfolds. Keep your eyes open in Discord. Some exciting new changes are on their way. I'm going to be handing over to Rill for the gaming district.
Not a whole lot yet has been decided for the gaming district, and so we want to know your feedback and your ideas about the gaming district, and I totally did not make a form because I forgot. I'm sorry. I will post a form later. But we would like your feedback about the gaming district, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you would like to see for next season, because the possibilities are wide open right now. There is one thing that we are going to be adding though, and that is going to be the creative gaming district. I think Oz touched on this. Did you touch on that, Oz?
I did a little bit, yes.
Okay. So this is just going to be a space where you can create games in creative mode for other people to play. And we'll set it up so that you can set yourself to like survival or adventure mode or whatever it is that you need to do to test the game. It won't be moved into survival. This is just to allow you more options and more creative freedom for some of the games. This was something that was requested, and the mods talked about it, and we decided, yeah, let's go ahead and give it a try this season. But that's it for the gaming district. Because we don't have a whole lot of plans yet, I would love to have your ideas and things like that. And I'm going to hand it over to Legion for seasonal districts.
Oh, hello. So I will be the moderator in charge specifically of the Winter District. I don't really want to give too much away because, spoilers. But I just wanted to let you know that I do have some fun-filled, snow-filled plans and ideas that I can't wait to announce to you guys and to have you guys take part in and design and set up. But for now, I would love to let you know that shortly I will be setting up a thread for the Winter District and would love to see all those who are interested in getting the area set up to pop your name forward when that happens. I will also be setting up a special tree building competition in the near future with the intention of its winner becoming the main tree of the Winter District next season. Obviously, this tree will be the central point for our annual gift giving event that we like to do each winter. And I already can't wait to see the amazing ideas that the community come up with in regards to that. I'm now just going to pass you over to Lulu for the Spring District.
There will be a spring district. Big announcement. That's all I have. Heather, save me.
Sorry, Lulu. There's going to be a brand new district that we haven't had before. This is going to be the Advancement District. If you guys have a better name for this district, please send it to me. My DMs are open. So this is my little blurb on that. Have you ever wanted that one impossible advancement but didn't want to clutter your base with a boat, a goat, and way too much effort? Or maybe you're just curious to see how many achievements you can grab in one epic stroll. Well, say hello to the Advancement District. Name pending, if you will help. This is your one-stop spot for all the things advancement, whether you're building elaborate setups for tricky advancements or just visiting to claim what others have made possible. This district is all about teamwork, creativity, and that satisfying ding of success. Hope to see you all come take a peek. Handing it over to Mac for Map World.
Hello, mappers and appreciators of maps, and welcome to the next phase in our artistic journey. As we've covered previously, we'll be doing the map process a little bit differently this time around, so I mostly want to touch on the significant changes and what to expect from the next season of Map World. Firstly, as you know, the current season Map World will be transferred over to the new season. However, you will not be able to build there. Essentially, you'll be in adventure mode, and rather than have us transfer maps over, you'll be able to make a copy of your maps from this season in next season. You will not be able to access storage or items left behind, although we do ask that you remove those, and you will not be able to take down any of your current season maps, so you can't take the materials from them. Secondly, the new season map world is going to be a little different to this season, with the current plan, to be confirmed, that it will be more like the current creative server set layout. You'll be able to claim plots as large as you need to make your map without butting into other players' mapping areas. Thirdly, we'll be creating a centralized map storage area for those who are new to maps or those who like to donate materials, because we're all like that. And this will be up and running very early into the season. There will also be a small gallery for you to let you show off your favorite pieces so far. And lastly, this is the biggest one for me, is that this server will be hosted on the same server structure as a number of the other servers, including the shopping district, the district server, and the sport and the gaming district. What does this mean for you? If we have another problem like we have for this last few months in the current season, and trust me, this is not a problem for the next season, the maps will continue to work across all of these worlds. So fret not, mappers and friends. We will do everything we possibly can to make sure that we don't go through this problem again. Okay, I'm going to pass you on for the very exciting thing. Ash.
All right, guys, it's finally here. So give me a moment. I've been very excited to share this with you. So, have you ever wanted to build something without the red tape of waiting for approval or the restriction of base borders? What about the constant interruptions from zombies, creepers, or skeletons? Have you ever dreamed of uniting with your server mates to create beautiful collaborative builds without being confined to a district? Are you often wishing you could build free range paths, farmlands, villages, and cities alongside the community you love but are burdened by the bureaucracy of server rules? Is this you? Then imagine this. Imagine yourself in an organic world where you've collaborated with your server mates to build entire villages. At the end of the village is a sign. The sign tells you to follow the road ahead to reach out to the neighboring villages. And so you and your steed, you venture out onto the dusty path. Now you found yourself passing through vast farmlands, rustic cabins, and lakeside retreats. In the distance, you see a looming silhouette of a large city, barely visible through the render distance. You've been to this city. You helped build it. You have an apartment there. The sun is setting, but you're not afraid. You know that this world is at peace, free from the infestation of the monsters that plague the neighboring lands. You mount your steed and start the journey to the city, knowing everything around you is the product of the community that you know and love. This is iSV. If this vision has piqued your interest, then I would love to introduce to you the iSV's newest experimental world, the Ball Pit. The name, forgive me of the name, it was an experimental name and it has stuck. I have been so excited to share this with you all. Inspired by a feedback form suggested many months ago, we took it and ran with it. It's going to be a peaceful, building-focused world without the restrictions of base claims or build themes. A place where you can build farms, towns, cities, monuments, anything you want alongside your server mates. Now, in order to make this world a reality, there will be restrictions. Unfortunately, it's just the way it works. Entities, mobs, and redstones in this new world will be limited. No villagers will be permitted. The sorting systems must be manual. In the spirit of giving you, the player, less rules and more freedom, there are no defined limits on these things. However, we will require everyone to comply with the requests for as few entities as possible. Abuse of these privileges will result in rules being set, which really goes against the spirit of this new world. We're still working on the details, but they will be written and included with the Season 9 rules once they're released. And as with any new and experimental project, we ask you to be patient with us while we figure out what works and what doesn't, and adjust the rules accordingly when that happens. It will be a learning process for all of us. You can help make this new experiment as smooth as possible by being courteous and respectful. There will be inevitable changes. It's just the way it works. So let's work together, make this project seamless. I genuinely hope you're as excited for this project as I am. And that's all. That's what I've been so ready to tell everybody for months now. But I'm gonna give it over to Megs now. I already gave spoilers in the chat for this. Y'all know what's coming, but there you go. Go ahead, Megs.
Okay. Mod coins for the next season. Um, we're always looking for new ways for you guys to spend your mod coins as you earn them. New exciting things. If you have any ideas, please put it in the feedback form. Though the one thing that we've gotten numerous requests for was updating the 4-hour diggy diggy potion, and we're going to be modifying that to 2 potions with 2-hour durations so that you don't have to worry about accidentally drinking milk or dying and losing all of it at one time, or heaven forbid, you have to log off in midstream. So, but if you guys have ideas, please let us know, and we will gladly take a look at them and review them. And also on the feedback form, one thing I would like to say is, if you guys do want follow up on them, please sign your name so that we can actually get back to you. A couple of times we've gotten requests for follow up, but we don't know to whom. And with that, I would like to hand it off back to Rill for the Q&A session.
Okie dokie. Did we get the Q&A posted? I think we did, right?
Yeah, it's up there.
We
Okay.
did. It may have been pushed in a. I can drop it again. Oh, not what I meant.
All right, so this section is basically for us to answer your guys' questions. So go ahead and submit them to the form, and we will do our best to get some answers for you. All of the things.
Don't forget
Hi,
the stuff.
9-3.
Enjoy, Oz.
Stroke inducing. Yeah, rude assault tank. You needed to add punctuation and it would have been better. Okay, Anonymous is asking, can I get my cat ears from Ethel on the main SMP for season 9? I've been good and helpful this season. You know, now that you mention it, it is something that we are discussing, having cosmetic items, but that is going to be an impulse decision. We got to talk to the boss man about it. And he probably won't be able to have a good discussion with us until after he's back from vacation in July. So it is on the table. It will be discussed if we're going to do cosmetic items. We would love some community feedback about that. So stay tuned and we'll be asking. So we want to make sure that if we do cosmetic items, we do it the right way and we do it in a way that would support impulse. Okay. Tilt is asking, what are the plans for mod coin distribution this season? I.e., are there going to be any new ways outside of Community Week to earn mod coins? Mags, do you want to take that one?
Sure. um, yeah, I mean, there's, I don't know. You caught me off guard. Sorry.
Sorry, my bad. We're always open. We're always open to more suggestions and ways to earn. So if you guys have ideas, please send it to us. Oh, this one might need a poll. Who is the most sus mod?
Easy feather.
What?
It's Sturm or
Rude.
Lego, obviously.
It's definitely
It-
Sturm or Legion.
I vote Legion because he's trying to deflect.
It's a
Thank you,
sustache after
Lily. I
all.
appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
Look, okay, I've never been
Nice.
sus day in my life. There is no proof of this. It's all fabrications against poor Legion.
Legion,
Whereas
just look at
Feather
the chat.
is very sus.
No, look at the
Yeah,
chat. They all
Definitely
say
Feather.
it's you.
No,
It's
it's
definitely Feather.
obvious. No,
I
it's
said
Sturm.
wrong. Feather is definitely not innocent. I'm seeing Feather. Oh, someone said Lulu.
Wait,
Yeah, that's what I can see in the chat. There's lots of people agreeing
I'm
with me.
I'm not.
I say Sturm because he's not here to defend himself.
100%.
That's a good
Sure.
point.
Okay. We'll go to Sturm.
I'm sweet and innocent.
Lies.
Oh, Ashley, you and I did it almost the same time.
Did we both put it?
Nope, go ahead. I deleted mine.
Legion,
Well,
I've got some
everybody
bad news for
votes.
you.
What? The most innocent mod, Legion, has 13 votes. I think I'm winning this. It's
Are you
great.
voting for me? Who voted for me? I'm not.
The question was the most sus mod, and technically, I'm the community manager. So,
Also, Legion, did you see that my name is not on there? Haha! I'm not the sus one.
Most
You
most
definitely
sus
sus.
admin though.
Admins
Hey,
are all sus, okay?
Oz.
We don't need them. We don't need to do a
uh,
poll because all admins are sus, okay? I mean, you admins have goo on your side. That by default makes
yeah,
all of you sus.
That's fair. Okay, so Nightshade would like to know how long we have to wait before we can go to the end. That would be a Legion question, I think.
um, I definitely don't plan on making you guys wait a month in regards to opening of the end or anything like that. Obviously, there could be time frame issues. We obviously, when we do the opening of the end event, it does usually like to involve our beloved boss man, Mr. Impulse. So obviously, I have to work. We would have to work around his schedule as well. But my hope is to get the end opening event prepared for the surprise stuff prepared so that we can get it open as soon as we can. I don't want us waiting forever for that. So that's generally what I can't give you like an exact, we're going to open it on this date or anything like that. But my aim is to open it up as fast as I can for you guys.
Okay. Peach Capri wants to know which part of the SMP would be best for a lending library type build, and examples will be seen on Friday when Impulse tours again. If you're talking about like lending out books or lending out something, I'm assuming it might be best in the shopping district, but that's definitely a discussion that like we can have with the mod team. Okay. Anonymous wants to know, is there a special theme for the server as a whole? Does anyone want to answer that one?
I can take it.
Okay.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, and I'm pretty aware of what's happening, there is no theme. So if you're looking for themes in order to give your suggestions for names or anything like that, we don't. A lot of the times the themes come about from the names that we make. So if you have a name that you think would be great, or two names, that would go good, submit them and maybe we'll go, yeah, that sounds like fun. So as a whole, no, there's no theme. We don't want to confine creativity to a centralized theme. So do as you'd like.
So Commando says, sorry if I missed it. Did you say there was going to be multiple spawn towns? So how we are doing the spawn town setup is we will have one massive spawn town. Well, it's the same size roughly as not this current spawn town, but the one that we had last season. We will have 3 neighborhoods, one spawn town, 3 neighborhoods, and then separately, 2 bed and breakfasts, one on each of the main residential servers. That is how we are doing the setup this season. So yeah, just one spawn town, 3 neighborhoods. Otherwise, you can do freeform, and then 2 bed and breakfasts.
Okay, this next one I think will be for Mac. From uh-oh, I'm gonna say it wrong. Cyril? I think it's Cyril. I'm so sorry.
It is.
Oh,
Yes.
yay! Can map plots be marked so they are easier to find? The first time I built a map was not 1, but went over 2 because I said it wrong. And can we include a kind of blank border around each plot? Like, now the problem is I need an extra row above the upper rim or to get the pixels the right color, yeah. But when I build the next map above the first one, this row needs to be taken down as it marks the low row for the map that I do next. Yes, I understand that. Mac, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. Sorry, I
Mhm.
just got a cat decide to sit next to my mouse and was like, "You can't unmute. What are you doing, Mum? Feed me." So the plots will be a lot more. So as I mentioned previously, the intention is to make it more like the creative server this season, where you claim a map plot. When you claim a plot, if you're claiming a singular plot, you'll actually claim 2 plots, so that you'll get one to the north, which will allow you to do your extra row that you need, because yes, you need that extra row for coloring of maps. So that will hopefully address your concerns about making sure that you've got the right spot and that you've got it set correctly, but the plots will be laid out quite clear, like with the creative server now, they're currently wrapped in different color blocks. You'll be able to see fairly clearly what it is that you've got. Um, the as far as like labeling them, you'll be able to fly over them and see them just like in a creative server now. But the intention is to have a bit of a more of a layout like we had previous seasons, where you could, like you had a plot and then you could put colored carpets down so people could see where there was big areas to claim and stuff like that. But that's something that will still come as we sort of get more and more closer and closer to the time. I did see, I think that answers the question, but I will add to this. So Shay mentioned about void map areas. So the plan at this point is to have it so that you've got a layer of barrier blocks at the bottom of the world, then you've got a layer of moss, which will be on top of that. So if you choose to, if you want a void map, you can just remove that layer of moss, which is punchable really quickly by hand, and then you'll be able to. But if you don't need the void map and you don't want the scariness of the void map, you'll be able to then build just on top of the moss. And moss is obviously a fairly cheap resource, so it won't be too difficult. And that will give us the opportunity to not have large sections of the world that are just void map or just grass. It will sort of allow us to do both. I hope that touches on those.
Okay, from Grumtar, is it possible to have a custom spectral potion this time around? It would be so nice to have it in games. I think we're open to discussing that. If you'll drop it in the regular feedback form as a mod coin redemption suggestion, perhaps. I think that that's something that we can definitely discuss. And it might be something that would be easy to do, or fairly easy to do, in the creative gaming district as well. Hazel Pear wants to know where would be the best place to build a baseball field. If it's a functional baseball field, you might consider the gaming district, but if not, maybe the ball pit.
Yeah, it could definitely go in the ball pit. I don't honestly, the ball pit could be whatever you want it to be. So if that's what you want to build, go for it.
Alrighty. What Minecraft update will the server be on? Normally I'd hand it off to Oz, but he had to go. So we are planning on 121.6. That is very, very dependent on if all of our plugins and everything are all updated by the time we get to launch. But it's looking likely that that will be the case and that will be okay. So we'll know for sure in another like 30-ish days. So around the time we close season 8, we'll know for sure what version we're launching season 9. All right, from Fallen, is there bamboo within a reasonable distance of spawn or the first mining world? Ash?
Well, I'm pretty sure that the seed I chose for the ball pit has a bamboo jungle within, I think it's a few hundred blocks. So there you go. Now you can have your no wood challenge. You can go to the ball pit.
Okay, Cyril's also asking, will there be a new mod coin token? Yes. Should we make another poll for that? Have the community decide what our next mod coin's going to be? We'll take suggestions. Custom items, possible, yeah. This is something where we can take any suggestions now. Normally in the past, we have tried to stick with items that you can't accidentally place
Or eat.
because of season 5's sunflowers. My fault. My bad. But that is no longer something that we need to worry about because with 121.5 and 121.6, there comes new item tags that allow us to create an item basically that's not placeable. So even though it looks like a sunflower, you can give it a tag that says not placeable. So pretty much anything can be a mod coin now.
Fletching table. That's hilarious.
Make it an anvil so that if you do accidentally place it, it very much makes you know.
Okay, we might have to comb through the chat there and grab everybody's suggestions. Ooh, I like resin idea.
We had thrown around the idea of a glistening melon. It's definitely an option. It doesn't really have a lot of use either.
I kind of like resin.
Do one of y'all want to grab some of the suggestions there and throw a poll into the
On
chat?
it.
Thank you.
It won't have all the suggestions because there's too many to fit in a single poll, but I'll try and put some of them up there.
All right, Graybeard is asking, it sounded like you want to build a city, you go to one SMP server. If you want to go do something else, you go to the other. Is that it? No, what Oz was talking about was the basically spawn areas of the SMP servers are going to be two different like spawn builds. So one of them is going to be a city build, and the other one is going to do whatever it is that Oz is doing. That's very Aztec ish. So I'm not gonna do more spoilers if he doesn't want them. So if you want to build a base that's outside of those like themes that they're doing for the spawn, that's totally fine. You just pick whatever SMP sounds fun to you. We'll have a map you can view on the website again so that you guys can see and look around and explore and see what looks like a good spot that you'd maybe want to go base at and then go claim it for your base. So there will be those options. It'll work pretty much the same. It's just instead of having spawn on like Fred, we would have had spawn on a completely different server where we also put the shopping, or not the shopping, the words are hard. The villager trading hall, the post office, and things like that. That's now all going to be on its own server, and so the other two servers that are our SMP servers will just have a little spawn build just for fun. You can think of them as districts for those servers if you want, if that helps. Maleficat asks, we heard from Winter and Spring District who is heading up fall and summer, and are there any plans or changes for them? Also, I like the name Advancements District. It's really easy to know what you're getting into. Okay. Does someone else want to take the district's question?
So there are going to be the other districts. They are in progress. So if you have ideas and stuff, the fall district is on me, and summer district, I believe, is Ash. Not sure what Ash's plans are. So if you have ideas, pop them my way for fall district. And yeah, so there's no fixed plans as yet.
I can briefly talk about summer. I chose not to bring it up today just because we are going to be entering the new season in the middle of, well, the end of summer. So there's no sense in starting up any events for the summer district this year. So it's going to be a full year before the summer district really kind of takes off. There was some really great suggestions about doing grand openings. I think that's a really fun idea. So that's something I'm kind of thinking about. So a grand opening, and I have some ideas floating around in my head. I did it again this past year. Unfortunately, the server was pretty quiet. Everybody was busy, so I'm gonna take it again and try and make it a little bit better, make it improve some of the ways we could. But again, if there's something that you think is great, would be a great idea, I'd love to hear it. I already have an idea in my head, but we can always expand on that. I also really love the idea of making a summer camp, but that's again up in the air. So it's still so far away that it's not right on the top of my mind, but I'm always open to suggestions, or if anybody wants to help, do anything in it, that's totally still possible because there's a lot of time before that.
Okay. Yuansi asks, what are we going to do about giving more room for the community to shape the look and culture of the server? It seems pretty pre-planned and all about slaving away with schematics instead of having the community chime in with brilliant ideas. This is a good point, and it's part of the reason why we ended up with the ball pit idea, to give some of that creative freedom back to the community and some of the freedom from all the rules as well. So we're hoping to see like growth there, and if people seem really into it and they really want to do it, we'll definitely continue and we'll make improvements and we'll take feedback and things like that. If you want to be a part of shaping what other things look like that do end up having schematics because we want more people to be able to get involved, just let us know if you're interested in helping out with the planning side of things. That does happen when you have so many people. It's hard sometimes to stay organized, and we still drop the ball on a lot of things. And so we do try, but we do want to give some of that creative freedom back through this ball pit idea and experiment. Are there any plans outside of Minecraft community advents?
I think
Like
like
they're
meetups,
asking,
maybe.
yeah, plans for outside of Minecraft community events.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. Now, if someone else wants to take that one.
Sure, I can. So for all of our IRL meetups that we've had, those have all been independently organized by members within the community that want to organize and facilitate those. That's not something that we as staff organize. We encourage it if you want to. But that we leave that solely in the hands of the community to organize and facilitate that. Up next, we have Cyril asking, can the Witch Hut dig have random barrels with goodies again? Glaive, do you want to take that one?
Yes. It is something that I want to do, and we'll talk to the team about. And I'm hoping that yes, we will be able to see it like we did this season.
Up next, IX says, Feather is innocent, Legion is sus. And to that I say both are simultaneously true and false. So do with that what you will. um, and then Assault has a suggestion for the gaming district to allow the use of the /find pin to help with finding games, perhaps also to have a directory near spawn based on game type. I think that's a great suggestion. I don't know, do we have anybody that is over the gaming district?
Not yet.
Okay.
I've kind of unofficially taken it until we have an assigned mod to it.
Okay. We will definitely put that in when we're designing that district.
I'll read the next one. So this comes from Indigo, who says, the single most drool-worthy thing from Ethel that I would love to see on the main server was having 20 minutes before your stuff despawned. Is that even remotely possible? It's definitely something we can discuss. I'm pretty sure you can set a timer. I might need the admins to respond on that one. But if we could do it on Ethel, I mean, it's something that is possible. As for whether it's something we want to do, it's definitely open for discussion. I can't say yes or no right now, obviously without the team's input. But if you guys think it's a good idea, if you think yes, no, anything like that, throw it down in the chat for your support or less support, anything like that. Shay says 10 minutes at least. So I mean, something to bring up at our next discussion meeting. And yeah, if you guys think it's important to you, and that's what we want to do. We want to take your ideas. So
Definitely agree with that, River.
AVK, it would be a despawn timer for items to increase to 20 minutes in the request, but Shay says 10 minutes, and so yeah, something to look into for sure. Tish, if you want to put that in the Q&A form so we don't forget about it, because we're just going in order.
Next one's for you, Ash. Is the ball pit meant for just decorative builds, or can we also base there, as in store our items?
It's not really meant as your primary base, just because we want to reduce the number of entities as possible. But if people choose to basically spend all of their time there, that's fine, as long as we're, being respectful to those entity counts and everything. Then by all means, just be aware that you don't have a single base, right? Like you're just building in a spot. So if that's something that you want to do, by all means. But it is recommended that you do have a base as well for most of your items and gear and stuff. So
Okay. Olivia Cat asking if Spectate is available in Season 9. It is not at the moment. It still has some issues with being on a velocity network environment with multiple servers and things like that. And I have not had much responsiveness from the dev for getting some things fixed. So right now it's off the table, especially since we do allow free cam now and things like that. But if you have a really good like case for us trying to find a replacement for it, put it in the feedback form to let us know that you'd have like a use case for it that's not covered by like free cam, and we'll look into it and see what we can do. Jado's asking thoughts on the /sit command as a mod coin redemption, similar to how chairs work. You could just sit down wherever you are. That is another thing that you could put in the feedback form. I will say that I haven't seen a whole lot of plugins that can do this and do it well and not cause all kinds of jankiness for the client side. So that is my only hesitation with that one, is that the capability isn't there yet. Plugins are getting better. Paper's always been making improvements, especially in the last like 9 months or so. They've been adding a lot of features people have been asking for. But that is one of the limitations between running a like Fabric server, a modded server, versus running a paper server. But paper server gives us more configs to help with lag because we have a very large communities, which is why we stick with that one. But it does mean we don't have quite as many advantages that a Fabric server has with the number of like mods and things like that available. The next one is for Glaive. Is everything going to be built in the industrial district within the first month again with no room for community input outside of the teams that are in charge?
Farm wise, no, it'll be very much as quickly or slowly as people want to get to farms and build them. My goal going into it will be just to have a simple like spawn area and a few roads. And no, the roads will not require schematic because I have people on my team who don't even use mods. So trust me, there will be a lot more like free reign if you wanted to help design the layout of this. But there'll be a bare minimum to go off of so we can kind of like organize the farms as they get built, and then we'll build roads in between as we get there.
Commando wants to know if there's a prize for first dragon kill. There's not a prize per se, but we did have a shiny item at the this season's like first dragon kill event that anyone could go pick up from the player district. So I would say that's kind of up to Legion.
Yeah, similar to this season, I very much plan on making or having a commemorative item made for the opening of the End Dragon battle event that will be put up not too long after that for all players to be able to claim, and it will be available throughout the season like this current season's one was. So even if a player wasn't around at that point later into the season, they can still claim it just so they can display it and have that little shiny item, bit of fun.
Okay. From Anonymous, once there are enough names, I assume server names, will there be a poll? Yes, there will be a poll. So you can keep an eye on like the announcement channel is probably where we'll end up putting it. Fallen asks, will we get a chance to see like a Dynamap of the world shortly before server launch? Yes, there will be a map available. We're looking at alternatives to Dynamap because Dynamap takes a lot of server resources. So if we can reduce lag, we always want to look for ways to do that. But yes, there will be some sort of map that will be available either on launch day or shortly before. Mags wants to know if there will be cookies. Should there be cookies? I don't know. Depends on the type. Tilt wants to know as community manager, everything I say is true, such as Bella will start with probably 64 diamonds. Now that you have said such awesome true words, will the non-creative gaming district have the same rules as the current season 8 district? Another no daylight cycle triggerable weather. This is all stuff that we can discuss. These are all options that are on the table right now for the gaming district. Since there are no plans, this is something that I would love to have community feedback about and let you guys make the decisions on how this district should be done. Ash, you want to take that next one?
Yeah, sorry, was totally off in my own world. All right.
You're
So
good.
yeah, no, this is for everybody, for anything you want. I just have this vision of you know, towns, villages, and cities just organically coming together. But if you wanted to build statues, then go for it, right? Like that's just what it is. So yeah, no, if you want to build it, go to the ball pit, right? Like if somebody wants to go build cat statues, then you do you, Mal. But yeah, whatever it is, it's there. That's what it's there for. So the question, Gray, was is the ball pit just for structures? So Mal says towns, cities, villagers, or will statues and such be allowed? For example, can I build a series of cat statues? So yes, that's what that is. Yeah. And then the next question, I may as well just answer this one. Anon asks, can you answer the most random question with the most random answer for no reason at all? The answer is 43. And then Cyril asks, will there be Dyn maps again? And when would that be available? As I plan to go for my base straight away, and I'd like to have a look where to claim ASAP. I will let Real take the answer to this one.
Yeah, it's just it's either going to be on launch day or the day before launch. So we'll post the links as soon as they're available, but we don't want to give people too much of an advantage without entering the world. So we usually try and keep that within like 24 hours of launch. Will the shopping plugin make a cameo? Cyril wants to. Cyril wants to know.
I'll take this one.
Okay.
So we are looking at the plugins at the moment. There will be a shopping plugin of some sort. We're trialing out a couple of different ones to see how they work on the server and see what sort of load they provide. At the worst case, we'll have the same one we have now. So we're just looking to try some different ideas at this stage. But yeah, if you have any feedback or any suggestions or anything you want in particular, please pop it in the feedback form, and we'd be more than happy to do to take that into consideration as well if we can. I'll read the next one if you want.
Go
Ember
for it.
says, will villagers work the same as they did this season, where you can combine their trades? Hugh, I guess this is for you.
Yeah. So we will be giving our villagers next season some special training, the same way that we did this season. The logistics I haven't fully fleshed out yet, but it will be very similar, if not the exact same, but you know, on a new season, as far as grinding the trades and then merging them. But yes, it has helped tremendously as far as server lag, and just, you know, optimization across the board for players who use the trading hall. So I see no reason to not bring that into the new season. And then up next, we have Darkest. When do we get more info about Skyblock? Mainly game version, claim sizes, how the non-vanilla features will work, etc.
I can take that one. Soon. We actually have a couple people from the Skizzlecraft mod team who are working on an informational video. I would say in about a week or so, you might expect that. Week to 10 days. I can tell you that it will be in 121.4. Salt Tank wants to know, should we build a 1-to-1 build of Deep Space Nine in the end? Or is or in the free-for-all area? Um, that's a good question. If you truly want to do this, I'm sure that we can figure out a space for you to do that. So I would say, so we don't lose it, drop it in the feedback form, and we'll get back to you on that when we have things that we're starting to set up and everything. Anonymous is asking, can the party district come back? I don't see any reason why not. It seemed pretty popular this season.
I think if you wanted to create a party district, we're gonna have an entire server dedicated to all the different districts. So if you think that that's something that we want to do, if you want to organize it, then by all means, get a crew together and we'll make it a reality. If it's not something you want to plan, try and garner some interest and see who would like to, and yeah, put something together.
Yep, absolutely. If you guys want to do something to make a district, just show us that you've got interest, that you've got multiple people that want to do it, that want to make this district happen, and we'll get you the staff support you need to do it. All right, next question is from River. Can we have a default claim border that is not purple this coming season? And would it be possible for it to be closer to the ground? It's ruined many a screenshot, and I just didn't have the spoons to build a wall until recently. The reason why we have it up at that height is to make it easier on the mod team who is processing hundreds of base claim requests, and having it at the same height makes it so that we're not going to hit terrain with the border words. um, so there is a reason for that height, unfortunately, and we're open to changing the color, but or the type of block that we use, but there's two stipulations for that. Three stipulations. One, that it needs to be spawn proofed, because we don't want to create spawnable spots on people's borders. Two, it can't be a cheaty material, so we're not going to do netherite blocks. And three, it needs to be visible using our chunk pruning software that we use called MCA Selector. It gives us a bird's eye view of the world, and then we go through and we select the chunks that need to be pruned. If you want to see how that happens, you can look up some of Azumavoid's like end chunk pruning videos, and that shows you exactly the software that we use. And so it needs to be very visible. That's part of the reason why we chose the purple color, because it was very distinctly visible. So if you have suggestions on changing that border, feel free to drop them like in the feedback form or wherever. And we'd be happy to take that into consideration as we're prepping our new schematics and everything for the season. We do also try to have things that are easy to remove, because we did consider glass borders at one point, and tearing down the glass all around somebody's 23 by 23 base is not fun. Okay. Cyril asking the question, is an individual home command possible maybe as a mod coin redeem? Does somebody want to take that one?
Not really. but I will.
Okay.
So, so there's been a lot of back and forth about the different commands that we use. So particularly slash spawn. Um, there's been some feedback over the past season about if it's contributing to that lack of community that a lot of people are feeling. Um, Even on the mod team, we've kind of been going back and forth about how to solve this problem. Some people want us to get rid of it. Some people say, no, 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 I swear by it. So um, we are trying our best to find a happy medium for everybody with slash spawn, because we don't want to take something away that you guys genuinely find really useful, and we don't want to we also don't want to keep it as it currently is, simply because it was originally implemented as a temporary measure to fix the portal issues we had at the beginning of this season. So really what I'm getting at, I just want to be upfront with you that we are discussing how we can change slash spawn, and Cyril's requesting slash home. I know they're a little bit different, but they're very similar in the same way. We are discussing what the different options are. We want that community interaction to be genuine, and with slash spawn, we know a lot of that travel between the nether doesn't necessarily happen where you just have those random interactions with your friends when you're crossing paths and that sort of thing. So this is one of those really hard decisions as a mod that we just can't seem to find a happy medium on. So bear with us. We're going to be trying to find something really good. I don't know what the future of anything like slash home is. Right now, we just want to focus on slash spawn. I know that doesn't really answer your question, Cyril, and my apologies, but we are doing our best, and this is something that we have been talking about for literally like a year now. So, so we're going to keep working on it. And yeah, maybe we'll put this up for a poll later. I don't know. There's probably Hugh and Rill are probably yelling at me. Ashley, no, we're not going to be putting up for a poll. I don't know, but there's
Oh, I've
something.
got a list of links to drop to the community after this is over. It's okay.
So, yeah, we'll ask you guys, because honestly, we're very torn on this whole concept. So we actually
Marcus
voted
has it.
on what to do. Yeah, we voted on what to do a few months ago, and it was literally split 50-50. So it's I don't have a straight answer for you because we don't have a straight answer. So there you go.
Darkest has the solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slash sus
So
that takes you straight to Legion.
yeah.
Approved.
I
So
will. I will be
there
noting
you
that
go.
rudeness, Dark. I will be noting that.
But that's why I didn't want to take this one. But there you go. It's out on the table
Yeah,
now.
no worries. I just feel like I'm answering a lot of the questions, so I'm like, oh yeah, does somebody else wanna talk? Okay. There's been a couple of questions from Anonymous about, guides, and so I'm kind of, like, merging them all together. So the general gist of the question seems to be about how guides are picked and how guides, are rotated. So I'm just gonna well, this might be a good question for you to answer. If you wanna answer, like, how that process works for bringing in guides, I can do it, but if you want to as the guide mod.
Sure.
Okay.
So the process that we have been implementing, well, we implemented it just over a year ago, and we've been trying to work out the kinks for it. Um, it used to be we would just have open applications and we would take a certain number whenever spots became available. We've now implemented a rotation system where every roughly 6 months, um, we go by, we look at when a certain guide had joined the team, and we have set a limit of 3 consecutive, roughly 6 month rotations. Um, Trying to think of how best to word this. I'm fighting a headache and words are hard. So once a guide reaches that the end of that third rotation, they step down for at least one rotation. And
Terms
then
is the
that
word
gives
you're
it
looking for. 6-month
uh,
terms.
6 month terms. Yeah, see, words, listen. Um,
No
so what
worries.
we've been doing is at that benchmark where we have that change off of the one term to another, we send out the application form to the community, we receive the applicants, we review the applicants, and then we take 6. That has been how we've done it so far. But we're giving it more structure, that way being able to get on the guide team is not contingent on another guide deciding that it was time for them to take a break. We also are trying to use this as a way to resolve burnout on the team. And then, Real, if there's anything else you want to add.
I'll just add that some of our process for determining who becomes a guide, some of that is based on the application, like how much thought did you put into your answers and things like that. Some of it's going to also be based on your time zone, and what the team's needs are and what coverage we need to have across time zones, because we always want to try to have at least one staff member online whenever the server is up and running, especially for new season and all of that. We try to make sure that there's always going to be somebody who is available to help you. We don't really like it when there's nobody online to help you. And so we try to make sure that we have plenty of coverage across many, many time zones for that purpose. That is probably the number one thing that ends up deciding when there's like 3 options but 1 seat. That, for me at least personally, is the one thing that I vote on is, okay, what time zone coverage do we need that will help us make this decision? Because in all honesty, most of the applications that we get are very good people who have been working for the community and doing all these things, who deserve to be guides. And in the end, we have 20 applications and 6 spots, and we have to make those really, really tough calls. So we look for how much they're currently doing, how active they currently are. We look at your answers to the application questions and how much thought you chose to put into them. And we look at your time zones, and we consider it all together. And that's kind of how the decision process happens. Then once you become a guide, we also have a system called the Guide Buddy system, Guide Mod Buddy system. And this is to make sure that there isn't a rift that forms between our 2 teams, the moderation team and the guide team. Because the moderation team's purpose is to make sure that the server stays safe for all players, that people are following the rules and things that need to be enforced are getting enforced. And the guide's purpose is to make the server fun. They're the ones that are running the events and doing all of those kinds of stuff and things to make it a friendly, happy place, to make sure that everybody who joins feels welcome, knows where things are located, and they have friends. Immediately when you log in, there's going to be 3 people and 4 guides who are all going to be, hey, do you want a server tour? Like, that's the vibe that we want to give for the server. So that's kind of what the guides are in charge of, is making the server fun, making sure that there's activities and things for people to do together to build community. Whereas the mod team's more focused on making sure that rules are being followed, that the server stays safe. So we decided that sometimes we've seen in the past that sometimes that causes a rift between the 2 teams. And so we decided on this mod guide buddy system so that we can build bridges between our 2 teams and between the responsibilities that we have. So usually we assign like 2 buddies to a mod, and that way they can all help and support each other. So if the buddies need something, if the guides need something that has to be done at a mod level, like they need shiny items for prizes for something, that they can go directly to their mod buddy and not have to just put some random ask a mod request like, hey, I need this, and they don't have anyone in particular they can poke. Now they have somebody they can poke directly for something that they need. So that was kind of our solution. I know some of you guys may have seen in chat, people saying guide buddy, mod buddy. That is what that system is all about. It's to try and make sure that there's no rifts that form between the teams. I hope that has answered the majority of those questions for guide mod stuff. Okay. Hugh, do you want to take the next one since it's post office stuff?
Uh, yeah, I'm actually going to take the one right above that, though. Commando asks, are we still going to have monthly challenges? That is something that the guide team sets up and organizes. I imagine it will make it to next season. It's been well received. You guys have really enjoyed the monthly challenges that we've done this season. As for what specific monthly challenges make their way into next season, that I don't know. If you have feedback suggestions for new monthly challenges, drop those in the regular feedback form. And then we can discuss that as we start trying to plan all of those kinds of events for next season. And then up next, Cyril asks, how will post office boxes be distributed? First come, first serve. Number I wish for if still free, applications. So the goal is to have it first come, first served. We're going to have a directory to help people know what's available, but we won't be able to guarantee numbers to anybody. So if you wanted to reserve a specific number, we won't really have a reservation system in place. But the way that we're also going to do numbering, and I should have touched on this when I was explaining the floors. So the first floor is going to be number 101 through 196. Second floor is going to be 201 through 296. So it's not going to be number 1 through number 468 or whatever. So the numbers are going to be a little non-conventional, but not in like an arbitrary kind of way, if that explains that process. Uh, the next question we have is from Anonymous. It says, can we please get backpacks or a storage mod? That one is likely too far outside of the realm of the vanilla that we shoot for. But that is something that we can ask Impulse. That's not something that we can give a yes or no to immediately. That would be something we'd have to involve him about.
Any chance of getting the plug-in paper version of Simple Voice Chat mod? So this has been a discussion that we have had as a moderation team, and honestly, because it's such a big thing, we've had this discussion with the admins and moderators of other Hermitcraft patron servers as well. And it's still under discussion. It's a final decision from Impulse. Our main concern with it is that it is impossible to moderate. And our job as moderators is to keep the server safe. And so if it's something that it's either going to be really difficult or impossible to moderate, then it's something that we usually say no to. However, we do know that it is a very popular request. We get the ask every season because everybody sees the hermits using it, and so they want to use it here on the server too, and they don't want Discord as an alternative. So it's difficult as well because if we installed this, we risk creating a rift between people who are willing to install the client-side mod and people who are not willing to install it. And there is another reason why we run paper servers, and that is because it will never require anyone to have a mod pack to be able to log in. And that will still be the case if we installed simple voice chat, but we don't want to create cliques of people who have and people who have not, and people who are not comfortable with voice chat and people who are comfortable with voice chat. So it's going to take some more discussion because we do have some concerns and we want to make sure that we do what's best for the community and that we do something that's sustainable for the mod team to manage as well. So I'm sorry I don't have a yes no for you on that. It's still in discussion. Nightshade asks, will we be able to make chairs in the new season, saddles on chairs? Yes, we still have plans to keep that because it's a very low resource intensive feature. So it has been just fine this season. We're very happy with its performance, so we're happy to keep it into next season as well. Nancy says, well, I guess this is more of a statement than a question. Please don't get too ambitious right from the get-go, I assume. We burned out hard because we went too big too soon and not realistic to expect a whole season's work in the first 2 months. Yes, that is definitely something that happens every single season, where we have a lot of people who are super gung-ho at the start and they really like hyper-focus and fixate on a thing and then burn themselves out. So that's a very good reminder to everybody involved, staff and community, to chill. It's okay. You can take your time. But I also understand the fun of the fixation, so I'm not going to judge too hard. Glaive, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah. Anonymous says, how do we get on teams like Glaive is talking about for the ID? For example, if we don't know what is needed, how are people that are new to the server that want to help out, but there are no discussions on this? For my team specifically, I had people DMing me months before season end if they could join, and I also did pick a few people. Now, if you're a new player and you're wanting to help, you ask literally anyone on my team, and there will be stuff that anyone can do and help with. It is not like I'm just going to make the whole team, make the whole ID. That's not fair to the handful of people I have. For other teams, I can't speak to how everyone would pick it, but it's usually just best just DM the mod or the guide or whoever's in charge. It could be a normal person even. If they're in charge of it, just DM them to ask how you can help out.
Next one looks like it's yours too.
Oh, yes. Graybird asks, where the ID have expanded spawn chunks? If there's a good reason for it, the admins can discuss it. I know having constantly loaded chunks can add to the server resources being used. But for now, there is no plan to increase it from the vanilla numbers.
Yep. If you can make a case for it, then we'll talk about it and see what we can do there.
All right.
Are the
Anonymous
base?
asks.
Oh, so go ahead.
Yeah, Anonymous asks, are the bases going to be the same sizes again? Some people are basing together. Will it get bigger? As it stands right now, the plan is for single base, excuse me, single person bases to be 17 by 17 again, and multi-persons 23 by 23. But we are adding the 11 by 11 for those who require a smaller base. At this point, we don't have any plans on going larger than 23 by 23. But if there ends up being, issues in the future, that is something that we will revisit anything that becomes an issue. And I think Legion would be next on, have the next one.
Oh, hello. Min asks, will there be a player district? I liked the single building from season 7 because it was easy to see everyone's armor stands. Yes, we do plan to have a player district, and there are current preliminary plans in places to kind of what theme it may be and stuff like that. But that we do plan. Nothing. It's a bit early for us to kind of make any official announcements just yet on it all. But there is going to be some form of player district this season. And I noticed there's another question to follow up from Anonymous. Will Patreon a month be back, and can a color be something different than pink, please? So Patreon month is obviously going to be coming back. Oh goodness, Ash. Patreon month is planning to be coming back, and in regards to the color, so I have been looking at. We have been looking at potentially altering the color and stuff like that. It's a bit tricky because, unfortunately, due to the amount of colors that we currently I'm aware of have available, a lot of them are taken up by other areas on our in our tab list. So, for instance, staff cover a few of the colors. Some colors just don't work because they won't work. They'll blend in too much with the thing and they won't look very nice. And some are covered by like announcement things and stuff like that. So there is very, very limited as to what colors we initially can have. However, we are looking at potentially something to do with Patreon colors, but I'm not. I have nothing to kind of like concrete to pass on that particular point. And just one final note for the Patreon month, just as a quick thing to you guys, I plan in the next season to be stepping away from running Patreon month, at least for a season or two. I've obviously run it for a long time, but I felt like it would be good to give another person the opportunity to do that. So a kind of mini announcement is that Mr. Wandering will be heading up Patreon month from next season going forward. Obviously, I'll support him if needed, but yep, that's all I wanted to say on that.
Okay.
And then next we have Graybeard. He says, if part of my base extends slightly over the base border, can I modify the base border before the pruning? There's not really a need to do that. We do allow a one chunk terraforming buffer. We don't prune the chunks right up to the base border. Just don't go crazy, because you will lose stuff if it's outside of the border plus roughly the buffer.
Yeah. Wherever possible, I trim 2 chunks out from the border. So if you have stuff that's beyond that, please make sure you've like marked it in some way, shape, or form. The next question. Ken is asking, I'm sure you answered it already, but what version are you planning to run next season launching? 121.6 is the current plan. That is kind of dependent on plugins being updated, but with as rapidly as I've been getting pings about plugin updates, I think that they're going to be fine. 93 is asking, can we have rails in the nether tunnels again like season 7? That's going to be a wandering question. Is he still here?
Wandering might be sleeping.
He might have fallen asleep. Okay. Wandering's in charge of the nether, so pester Wandering about it. Oh, no, he's awake. Will there be rails in the nether tunnels again? Like season 7? Yep, you were totally awake. Undecided. All right. So everybody pester Wandering if you want to have the rails. All right, last question for today, I think.
Looks
Hugh, you
like
want to
it.
take that? Follow-up question?
Yeah, so Cyril has a follow-up question about the PO boxes. She says, okay, so when it's first come, first serve for the PO boxes, will there be an announcement once the post office is opened and I can run there to claim one just to make sure I don't miss it? Yeah, once the post office is open and ready for people to claim, we will send out a ping for everybody and then it will be open. So just keep an eye out for that ping once. Keep an eye out for the build progress on the post office and then keep an eye out for the ping. That.
Okay. And that does it for all of the questions in the feedback form this go around. Again, if you have more questions or if you feel like your question wasn't answered, feel free to reach out to a mod or submit to our normal feedback form link. And also make sure that you hit up the other forms that were posted. We'll probably get those links posted in like an announcement post or something like that soonish, so that everybody has a chance to submit their thoughts on all of the different things. This is being recorded. Glaive's been recording it for us. We'll put it up on YouTube as soon as he gets that part done. So no worries there. All right, thanks everybody for coming. We do appreciate you, and thank you to all of the mod team plus Lulu who have been working hard to get things planned and set up and organized so that we are ready to go for the new season. Thanks, everyone.